Hey everyone, it's time for a quick market update since we have quite a bit of interesting price action and also major news from this week. And let's start with Ethereum ETF. So this is the second day of trading that concluded yesterday. And on the first day we had about 100 mil in inflows, and now on the second day we're having 33 million outflows. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this in a moment, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that we have an Ethereum ETF. If you remember, just a year or two ago, we were all scared that Ethereum will be a security. The SEC was, starting cases against different projects. And now we have like 9 or how many, I don't remember, Ethereum ETFs already trading on the stock market, and that is, in my opinion, huge. This is me personally, I even take it bigger news than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is kind of the standard for digital gold, whatever. Even the BlackRock guys, Larry Fink, call it such, and Ethereum is a lot more complex. It has a lot more things happening on the network for now, because Bitcoin is developing also in the recent year or so, and this makes it I think even more appreciative of where we are in the crypto industry and what is it to follow. In my opinion, it gives us a lot more confidence that first we could have a proper bull market in the coming 6 months, 1 year, and then in the future is, in my opinion, brighter for crypto projects. And yeah, this is just my thoughts. Obviously, it doesn't need to happen, it doesn't need to play out as cycles going forward, but I do think it's very, very bullish for the space overall. So when I look at these outflows, obviously we don't have much data to work with, but in a very typical fashion, exactly what happened also with the Bitcoin ETF. We have Grayscale here, which usually have very high fees, and a lot of people are withdrawing their Ethereum from ETH. This is turned into an ETF now. It was a trust, and people are starting to invest their money into Fidelity, BlackRock, and so on. And this could continue for a few weeks, months, nobody knows really. It's also dependent on the stock market, how we're doing there, which we're also going to take a look in a moment. But this is very normal. Pretty much what is happening right now is a deep rebalancing, because people want to get away from the high fees. A lot of people took the trade on Grayscale, where they were speculating that we're going to have an ETF, and there was a gap between the asset that the Grayscale trust was holding and the value that they were trading at. It was about 20-30% at some point, the discount. So many people closing this trade with the ETF now and moving to cheaper options like Fidelity's ETF. So if you see this on the chart, I want to show you on the chart of the Bitcoin ETFs, when they started trading, this is a weekly chart, by the way, you can see that from the open, pretty much, we had about 20 to 21% drawdown in the first 3 weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happens also for Ethereum. And it kind of lines up perfectly with where we are in the market, because also stocks have been correcting, and you can see here the SPX on a sharp correction, although it's been up only mode pretty much for the past, since April. We didn't even have a correction. But you can see that we have a couple of weeks in the red, and I think there's still some downside, at least chart-wise. Here, if we just even pull the Fib retracement, I think here in the 0.5 level, we could easily come to the 5.3 thousand on the SPX and still be in very bullish market territory. This is another from here, this like 2.5%. And on the daily, there's some reasoning, if we see a shallower pullback, that this could be at somewhere around these levels, like 5.5, something like this. And this is obviously We had just one massive red day. We'll see how the week closes. We still have today and tomorrow. But even if we get to these levels here, I wouldn't consider this a big issue. And this also lines up, now going back to the main charts, with Bitcoin last rally that we had. We had very bullish couple of weeks before this one. And you can see we pretty much blasted through all resistances. Like first one obviously was 60K. We reclaimed it. Then, in my opinion, this was also quite a significant level here on the daily mostly. Yeah, you could see some reactions here on the daily around 61 to 63 because also the 100-day moving average is around this level. And also on the weekly, I've said this before, this level around 65, 66 is the mid-range of this big range. And we closed above it. So what I would expect is for us to, come for a retest as it's happening, and potentially now is the time to kind of make the bigger bets, I would say, because this was kind of a surprise rally because we had different factors like with the Trump situation and so on. But now when we have the retrace of this move, I think it will be very telling for what is to come in the crypto market. Ideally, the more bullish case is we bounce somewhere around these levels because there's plenty of support already. Or we could go for 60K and retest the bottom of this range. I personally would not want to go through this again and test 60K. It will give me a little bit less confidence. Ideally, we bounce somewhere here and then, we still could chop around, but as we keep this level around 62, 63, it will give me a little bit more confidence that we're gonna see more bullishness in the coming months. The bearish case is obviously if 60K starts to break. We've discussed about this. We are still in a lower high situation here, even on the weekly. We haven't really broken down. Let me just clean up this chart, but you can see it pretty much. This was the higher high. This was a higher low, sorry, a lower high, and this now currently is also a lower high, and we have a confirmed obviously lower low here. So very key area. We've discussed this extensively. I have positioned myself just in case this was the bottom. We closed I think a very good trade on Pendle. Let me find it. And now it's pretty much fully retraced the move that managed to catch. Yeah, so pretty much, let me just draw this. Yeah, so pretty much we caught the bottom here, bounced about 30% to this level, and now you can see resistance is resisting, and we're kind of in the same level again. So if this holds, I think it would make a great setup for another trade. Obviously depends how stock market and Bitcoin is holding up, but I could see myself taking this trade again, as this level is pretty clean to trade and we're already back at it. So I took profit on this. I positioned a little bit on ZK. My entry was, think about somewhere here. So as it was breaking out somewhere around here. So what my thesis is on this one, similar to layer 0, busted airdrop, everybody hated it, but it's holding up and it's the cleanest chart. Like all the other L2s have some kind of bad history of charts and pretty much tears all over the chart of people holding and believing it will go up forever. Now it's getting deeper in a correction, but honestly with the size I'm currently holding, I would wait for the bounce and see how this plays out. But if we get back to this level around 15 cents, I'm ready to double down on this one because it makes for an even better risk to reward. And if this holds and doesn't like break down right away and accumulates a little bit more, this will be the picture perfect setup for this coin, together with potentially having more inflows on the ETH ETF front. Because right away, even on the day here, you can see this was the candle of the open of the ETF trading. Everybody started speculating with the ETH beta place, and even Pendle was up. A lot of ETH related tokens or up. So the interest is there, definitely. The thesis just hasn't played out, and I'm willing to give it a little bit more time because I said I'm patient now with size. Haven't really aped in too hard in anything. I did add to Aether, or however you read this. Again, small add. Now it seems like the level is failing here, so I would probably just cut this. Although it could just bounce, obviously. It's a little bit smaller token, AI related, and so on. But I would just cut it and look for either confirmation or, again, same setup as ZK, some kind of range low retest or something like this, because this is also a pristine chart with good fundamentals, and I really like this project. So I'm keeping an eye on a bunch of projects. Although I have a position, again, you can see it's kind of breaking down, but my sizing is decent, so I would wait for the bounce and see if we're actually gonna hold up here, or if we break. This is like my hard stop somewhere around this level. If we stop, I would just close this smaller position and again look for a better entry, because here the setup on the daily doesn't look too promising right now. Lower highs, lower lows, broke down again, retested this support here around $1.10, didn't manage to kind of run to the highs, and now we're breaking down again. So I would be careful with this right now, and in general with outs. But I do want to have, as I said, some skin in the game just in case things start to popping up. Trump is another interesting trade. I'm a bit more patient. It's below my stop loss here, but I'm just a little bit more patient with it. I think long term, with the craziness that we're going to see with the elections, this could do well, but I just don't like the price action right now. Just wicks into resistance and just sells off very quickly. So let's not forget there are a lot of people that are many multiples up from the lows here. Even now they're at like 1,500% up. So I do have some other Trump exposure via NFTs, but I'm just a bit more patient here just because also my sizing is not too huge. I'm also looking to get into Jiro. Jiro is kind of showing strength here. You can see reclaimed this level, kind of closed below it on the daily 2 days ago, and now it's reclaiming it again. And Solana is also kind of showing strength relative to the rest of the market. So if this holds up around these levels, I don't think it's a terrible trade to be had, especially if you're planning to hold it long term and if you believe we're going to have a bull market. 40% is too steep, so I would be careful if we start closing again below these levels. I don't want to be in it for now. Like 14-15%, I think that's good risk to reward. And just be careful with it, because obviously it could break down as the market is breaking down and potentially even give us a better entry somewhere again in this level as it tests the range lows. But if it holds, I think definitely it's a solid play. Solana has been really strong, pretty much. And another one I'm watching currently is Layer 0. Had a massive breakout here, one of the cleanest breakouts in a while, 33% on the day. You can see the chart, and now we're just correcting. Ideally, when you see a breakout, we don't want to see this type of immediate retest. On the 4 hour, it kind of made another push. You can see it here, but it failed, and now it's just going down and down and down. Potentially it will find some support around here, around $4.2 where it broke out. I'm willing to bid it even a little bit higher, like 4.4. So I have an order here around 4.4, just because if this is the correction, now it looks scary and everything's red on the day, but usually these get front ran. So this might not even get to the 4.2 level and give you a perfect retest. So if it gets to somewhere around here, I'm happy. And if I get an entry here, that's great. Maybe we grab some liquidity around these weeks and it just starts building up again. But the chart is just, looks good, pristine, very good structure. And again, a storyline behind it. And currently, in my opinion, quite low valuation for what it offers and also for where VCs bought. There's a bunch of other plays, obviously, but I think we can stop it here. Ethereum, let's just quickly look at the price action. It's kind of breaking down here, but as you can see, this is the daily. There's a lot of confluence in this area, so let's just zoom out a bit. So on the weekly, you could see there's some support through here. Obviously, the range low is somewhere around here, around 3K. You got also the moving averages here in this area. Excuse me. So I wouldn't be surprised if it scares everybody and retests this area right here, make a higher low, and then continue chopping upwards, I would guess. Because what we have, pretty much, we didn't make a new low here, so we had a higher high. We tested the lows here, and compared to this here, these levels, we're kind of starting to see higher highs compared to this, you know, and we had a close there. Let me just mark it out. So we had closes on the daily above this level. So technically, if we don't break down here around 3K, I would say this could be the best buying opportunity you could get for Ethereum in a while, especially when you factor in the risk to reward. Let's say even if this is here at the bottom, because we could wick above, you're risking like 11%. Even to the high here, it's 26%. So it's not a terrible trade if you're a longer term trader and not playing with a shit ton of leverage. But if you believe we'll start getting more inflows and it will follow the same trajectory as Bitcoin, I would target at least the all-time highs, and that puts kind of into perspective the actual trade. What I would do here is probably not bid blindly, but wait for a little bit of a reversal pattern or something on the lower time frames where you could see a little bit more confidence that we could hold here. And obviously this could line up with the stock market bounce and also Bitcoin holding these levels. So yeah, these are the things I'm watching. It will be an interesting close of this week and next week. And yeah, guys, just be patient. If we get a proper bull market, I think all these entries, if it's like 3 or 5 cents lower or higher, it won't make that big of a difference. But again, since I'm cautious and I don't believe 100% we could have another big cycle, I'm just a little bit more cautious with size and with trade management. And I try to be in and out of positions a little bit quicker if I don't like the price action, and willing to pay the price to get stopped out and potentially get a better entry or preserve my capital for when we get cleaner moves and cleaner price action, if of course we get it. And in my opinion, if this plays out, this could happen, as I've mentioned before, in the autumn, which usually has been a good time for crypto. While the summer here, you can even tell like people are already at the beach, nobody looks at the markets, and yeah, that's very normal behavior for now. So just patience, stay tuned, have plans, and make sure you keep executing. That's everything, and I'll see you in the next one.